My first story, Ghana needs an estimated $15 billion over a 10-year period to fully address challenges faced in water, road, energy, aviation and housing sectors. Well, that is according to economists at a roundtable to discuss the establishment of the Ghana Infrastructure Fund. The economist suggests $1.5 billion would be needed annually to start dealing with the challenges in these sectors if Ghana is expected to eliminate all these difficulties and deficiencies within a decade.
A section of economic and development experts met to draw up a roadmap for the establishment of the Ghana Infrastructure Fund, mentioned by the finance minister in his 2014 budget. The fund is aimed at bridging the infrastructural gap in the country. The meeting held in Accra on Monday follows the inauguration of a 5-member advisory committee headed by Acquah. Stakeholders at the roundtable discussed, among others, the legal and governance, investment objectives and operations of the Ghana Infrastructure Fund. Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Paul Victor Obin, noted the GIF will not compete with other existing funds but will focus on developing economic infrastructure.
Well, the Ghana Infrastructure Fund, if it comes into place, it may perhaps be able to absorb other funds that are doing bits and pieces of infrastructure, which also crowd out other activities in the budgets. For instance, I would like to see whether if this fund becomes permanent and it grows and becomes sustainable, whether it will be necessary for us to get a GET fund to finance, say, educational infrastructure, or other funds that will finance productive assets and so forth and so on. But all will depend upon what the committee proposes to government to form the base of the infrastructure for the purposes of considering this fund.
Finance Minister Sek Tekbe indicated the fund would help in the proper management of petroleum revenue.
The fund to be the vehicle through which the nation can utilize a portion, if not all, of the petroleum revenues, then would have been going a long way in achieving the foresight of those who drafted the concept which led to the formulation of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, which Act itself, as we said in the budget, will undergo the initial review, and we are working on that to go to Parliament.
Ranking Member of Parliament Select Committee on Finance, Dr. Anthony Akutose, also called for external support for the fund.
Now, ultimate radio investigations have revealed that several doctors and nurses in Ghana's health facilities are abusing pethidine, a strong painkiller that has the component of heroin and cocaine. The only psychiatrist at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, Dr. Godwin Donnell, who confirmed this in an interview, said the station so the drug has severe side effects on its users, some of whom have become very addicted to it. The drug is also administered during childbirth. Pethidine is supplied in the form of a pink ampule that can be opened, drawn up in a syringe and injected. Now, this is the type of medicine that is prescribed by doctors for patients that suffer from high levels of pain caused by cancer, mental disorders, and victims of serious injuries in motor accidents.
We'll still have to remain in the health sector as pharmacists who serve the National Health Insurance Authority subscribers are threatening to return to the days of cash and carry unless the current standoff between suppliers of pharmaceutical products and the NHIA is not resolved soon. They explain that they would have no choice but to deny services to those who present NHIA cards at all health facilities. It follows a decision by the Ghana Chamber of Pharmacy to suspend supplies to its NHIA affiliated client effective Monday, February 10, 2014, over the authority's failure to reimburse its members for supplies dating back to last year.
While the Chamber of Pharmacy ultimatum took effect from today, some community pharmacies who rely on them for their supply say they have had to bear the brunt of the action for some time now.
We will get our drugs from Osons, we will get some from Ernest Chemist, we will get some from Kena Pharma. They think that they are suffering too much because they are not getting their monies to be able to pay their principal. I have already made my orders and I'm hoping to be supplied by the close of the day or latest by tomorrow.
West Point Chemist, just like the other pharmacies who serve patients from Korle Bu, Ghana's biggest health facility, and its environs, say the situation is already critical but could get worse if nothing is done about it in the next few days.
Oh, I tell you, we can't go more than a week because you could see the demand here is very, very high. People are waiting patiently to be supplied with their prescriptions. So if they don't, within a week, we would have to fold up. Less than a week, we would have to fold up.
People are using other people's money to do business. And if you take our institution, Raw Chemist, what is happening is that people have picked up medication from us and our money is locked up. So yes, to an extent, they are justified, so that at the end of the day, if they are paid, we will also be paid.
The Korle Bu Teaching Hospital also relies on the Chamber of Pharmacy for stocks. An official who would not want to be named, however, denies it will be affected. But the chairman of the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association says there is no way Korle Bu would be spared the impact of the supplies action.
You find out that most of our facilities now have about 80% of patients who come on NHIs. There are a lesser percentage who come and do cash and carry. And so if you realize that the chunk of the money that will be used to purchase these drugs actually go to NHIs, and NHIs is not reimbursing the facilities for them to be able to purchase the drugs or pay for the drugs that have been purchased. So most often than not, these drugs are actually given on a 90-day period, and so on a credit. So after the 90 days, if they are not paid, you put them into a very awful situation.
He also would not rule out a return to the cash and carry system as threatened by the community pharmacies.
That means that some NHI people will be denied their medicines unless they probably buy it on a cash and carry basis. And I don't think that will be very fair to the patient.
Meanwhile, pressure is already beginning to mount on the few pharmacies serving NHIA subscribers as more of the shops begin to run out of stocks.
They are owing us. In fact, last year they were able to pay us up to the month of June. So from July down to present time, they are yet to give us our checks. Though the bills that we have sent is up to November. We are yet to send our December bills. But the ones that have been vetted, the bill that we have submitted to the authority that have been vetted, they are yet to give us from July, August, September, October, November. They haven't given those monies to us.
Etonamsi, Joy News.
Now, residents of Mankrong in the Ayen-Swano districts of the Eastern region have threatened not to vote in future elections if government fails to improve social infrastructure, especially health facilities. According to them, sick persons are rushed to the Suhum Government Hospital, which is about some 10 kilometers away.
Mankrong is in the Ayen-Swano district of the Eastern region. It is a deprived community. The major economic activity of the over 5,000 population is farming and gari processing. Social amenities are lacking. The community lacks a modern market, clinic, and has poor roads. The only bridge linking the community to the rest of the country is in a poor state. Some residents say they will not partake in any civic responsibility if their social amenities are not improved.
Bridge. Se so to na no ba nyina aka so na chi yeto aba wa ha. Ye wato aba bia wo ba so bia no aba ye hunu wo krum ha. Ete ye so ye hu ye nya aba no mo beba bia wo krum ha. Ete ya bi se aba to bia ba bia do ye to aba kra biom. Ete se ye kaka na hu, ye kaka na hu. Ete aba no e ba ye to bio ye ma wo me to box bia to ka ba e ma ha. Young we from here to Johnson in Ukraine. You see how from na Sika Kutwa and I say Bibiko Yawa, Ansana Ubenyaka. Ah, Yadu be do Suhumuno, Nanipane.
Assemblyman for the Mankrong electoral area, Enoch Francis, said all efforts to get the Yenswano district to support a community-based club in putting up a health facility has failed.
As an assemblyman, what I've done about it is I've wrote to the district assembly, the various assembly formerly were at Sunkrabakuta district, but currently we are at Ayenswano. We wrote to them that this is the problem that my people are facing, but as at now there is no even a single step that the assembly have taken to that.
Young Daniel Asamoah and his sisters rely on the Odekrong stream for water for domestic chores. They explained they have no option.
The
Haruna Yusuf Wumpune's report from the Eastern Region.
Residents of Bosomdo, a farming community in the Shama district of the Western region, say poor social infrastructure was retarding development of the community. Benjamin Peters reports from the community that the area lacks potable water supply, a place of convenience and a health facility.
Bosomdo's 600 population are mostly farmers, majority of whom engage in peasant farming, though a few grow cash crops. Transportation is poor, and the few drivers who opt to ply the dusty road leading to the community charge exorbitant fares or will not cut passengers and luggage to the community. Open defecation is common, and the Pra River, which is sometimes relied on for water sources, is polluted by human feces. The river is not only polluted by human waste. Illegal small-scale miners have discolored the water from the river. One borehole in the community is inadequate for the population. District health authorities are worried of the outbreak of an epidemic and yet are unable to find immediate solutions to the community's challenges. The nearest health facility is a CHIPS compound located at Faumanye and Anglo Beach, about 5 kilometers from Bosomdo. Two major health facilities, the Supum Dunkwa Health Center and the Shama Hospital, are about 25 kilometers away from Bosomdo. Patients who are conveyed to the health facility during emergencies pay between 100 and 200 Ghana cedis. The district chief executive for Shama, Enoch Kojo-Apia, disclosed the assembly is bent on improving basic amenities for the community, but has some challenges with funding.
And we're still staying in Bosomdo, where poor infrastructure at the Bosomdo DA Primary School is hampering effective teaching and learning. Another report filed by Benjamin Peters, who actually says the structure could collapse on the pupils.
Initially, the news team thought it was a canteen or a shed for storing school property, but the children study under this poor structure. About 10 pupils take lessons here in this deplorable structure. According to teachers, they fear it could collapse at any time. The structure was constructed with local materials with no doors, and pupils compete for space in the classroom with animals. Classes are abandoned during rainy days. Classes are combined due to inadequate number of teachers, and the classroom materials like the blackboard tell a gloomy picture of basic education in the community. There are also no accommodation for teachers, and so they trek long distances from Shama, which is about 25 kilometers away from the school. Majority of the teachers depend on bicycles, resulting in lateness. Some report to school at about 11 a.m. and those who cannot endure the difficulties have refused posting to the school. Meanwhile, the District Assembly, in a bid to improve quality of education in the community, has constructed a new facility for the kindergarten and nursery sections. A teacher of the school, Edmond Kuma, explains the difficulties teachers go through.
It's a major problem here. When it rains, the class has to be disorganized. You have to go and join the other class and all of that. So it's also a problem for us, the structure. And even my board, sometimes you write and then because it is not straight, the words will be, and looking at the children to what they see is what they write. So the board is also a problem. I mean, as you can see, the classroom is a major problem, and then accommodation too, and the mode of transportation too.
The District Education Director, Esther Bosman-Ama, said a lot of interventions have been put in place in collaboration with the District Assembly to help resolve some of the challenges. The District Chief Executive for Shama, Enoch Kojuapia, said plans are far advanced for the construction of a new 6-unit classroom block for the community.
Well, away from school infrastructure, etc., how usually comfortable are you trying to withdraw money from ATMs? Because for some, ATMs are arguably easy site for crimes to occur because of the monetary withdrawals made in the full glare of the public. To prevent such attacks, security personnel and bright lights are required, especially at night, to ward off criminals. Unfortunately, some of these ATMs are left without security and proper lighting, leaving clients as easy prey. Matilda Acquah has visited some ATM sites at night and has filed this report.
The night has not always been kind to the lonely and deserted because the darkness that comes with it has been known to attract crime. The panacea for the night darkness, which is the presence of light, is also often absent before most crimes occur. It is therefore worrying when automated teller machines are left without security and in darkness. In moving around the capital, I noticed some of these ATMs were without security personnel despite the withdrawals made openly at night. I spoke to some clients of these banks who interestingly felt safe because they lived in close proximity of the ATMs.
Sometimes when you are withdrawing and it's quite late, if you might say, well, it's quite dangerous, you see. But for this area like Mount Provi itself, I don't think it's all that dangerous as we might perceive. Yeah, for Mount Provi here, I think it's okay. And moreover, I'm not withdrawing a huge amount which will make me be afraid of anything or anything. So for Mount Provi here, I'll guarantee you it's safe.
I live around this area, so when I'm coming here, I don't scare. For me, maybe the rough guys, I'm not so popular. By some of them, they know me. So I don't think they can, if they see me, they will hide because I'm around this area.
But this confidence in the fact that an area is too busy to pose danger at night can lead to overconfidence, taking residents by surprise when least expected. At the Acquah Post Office area, I came across several ATMs, some with security personnel and others deserted, as clients freely and openly withdrew their money. The danger became more glaring when I came across this particular ATM. I arrived at this very popular ATM machine in Accra near the post office at night. And I was surprised at the darkness near this machine because people come in here to take money and the possibility of being attacked is very high. Unfortunately, a lot of people that I spoke to feel safe in the fact that they live in the neighborhood or in the fact that it's a busy area. So they are not making enough noise about the fact that they should be protected or the lighting system should be corrected to ensure safety. Matilda Acquah, Joy News.
So when was the last time you enjoyed a bar of chocolate by yourself or with a friend? Well, Friday, February 14 is National Chocolate Day, and another perfect opportunity for you to share some chocolate with that special one. But where are you planning on getting your chocolate for the season? By the roadside or from a shop?
Chocolate, a mouth-watering delicacy, is a confectionery enjoyed by many people the world over. Its aroma and taste is often associated with love, and so it comes as no surprise that in February, a month dedicated to love, and on Valentine's Day, chocolate reigns supreme, especially in this part of our world. Although health experts have pointed out several benefits of eating chocolates, such as a reduction in cholesterol levels, eating chocolates which have not been properly stored or have expired can pose serious threats to the health of consumers. During our drive through parts of Accra, we saw a group of young men and women hawking chocolates in the open sun, a dangerous phenomenon gaining grounds in the capital. Their modus operandi is to wait for traffic to build up. Then they move from one vehicle to another to hawk their wares. But health experts say chocolates should be sold at a temperature of not more than 10 degrees Celsius, should have low humidity, be out of direct sunlight, and also away from foods with strong odors. One therefore wonders, how safe are the chocolates sold in the open sun? I tried approaching the hawkers, but they bolted once they saw my camera. Still curious, I managed to purchase a bar of chocolate from one of the hawkers on the streets. It looked and tasted fresh, but I could not get the nagging question of how safe it is out of my head. So I asked some people I met where they prefer to buy chocolates.
Charlie, what I would take roadside chocolate to do from the shop? It's the same product from the street, but if you want to make your Valentine to be rich more, you have to sit in a very good place, then take care of your chocolate.
I prefer from the shop because it's okay there if I buy it and it's very secured.
I think I would like to buy at the roadside because there I can see my fellow guys enjoying themselves there. I will join them.
With the National Chocolate Day barely a week away, perhaps you might want to consider where you would buy your delicious chocolate for the occasion. Hope you make a wise decision. Dr. Sankuma, Joy News, Accra.
Well, it doesn't matter who you are. Definitely on the National Chocolate Day, you will be enjoying a bar of chocolate. And that also includes the politicians, especially those in the MPP, as they have officially closed filing of nominations for executive positions in the party. And at the close of the nominations at 5 p.m. on Monday, February 10, 2014, 44 people had filed their nominations out of the 46 who initially picked forms. Professor Michael Acquah, former second Deputy Speaker of Parliament and MP for Dome Kwabinya constituency, is said to have pulled out of the race for the position of National Chairman, whilst Mahama Mahmoud also opted out of those contending for National Organizer. Vetting is expected to begin on Wednesday, February 12th. For junior ranking officers within the top executives due to appear on Thursday, February 13. The MPP will hold its National Delegates Conference on April 12 at Tamale in the Northern Region to elect new leaders to lead the party into elections 2016.
The Center for Freedom and Accuracy, the CFA, has blamed the free fall of the cedi on faulty economic fundamentals and government's over-expenditure to the tune of over $4 billion in the run-up to the 2012 elections. The Bank of Ghana has announced a number of directives to halt the slide of the currency. But the CFA's Executive Director, Andrew Awuni, at a news conference described them as an attack on the private sector and charged government to concentrate its efforts on revamping and promoting local Ghanaian businesses as a measure to strengthen the cedi.
Our position is that those who took the decision to sideline the Tema oil refinery and rather go into European markets to spend $2.6 billion annually to import finished petroleum products for Ghana are the ones who must be held directly responsible for the crisis.
Andrea Awuni also identified the public officials who supervised and sanctioned Ghana's loan agreement with China as also responsible for the fall of the cedi. He questioned why the country is being required to pay commitment fees on the undrawn sum and at the same time meet its obligation of selling its oil to the Chinese, even though most of the CBD loan has not been disbursed.
Indeed, as a result of the delay in the disbursement of the Chinese Development Bank loan, Ghana has resorted into the panic allocation of our oil revenue. As we speak now, $290 million of Ghana's oil revenue are being applied to projects that were actually earmarked to be financed by the Chinese loan, and thus depriving other critical sectors of these resources.
He made some recommendations he says should halt the decline of the Ghana cedi.
The foreign exchange crisis that the country is going through is a matter of demand and supply. A true and proper solution will be to increase supply or reduce demand. But the focus should be on the governmental level and not to go on a blistering attack on the private sector and individuals as we are seeing now.
According to Andrea Winnie, the solution to the fall of the cedi was not in legislation, controls or commands, but a market problem that needed a market solution.
In the sub-region, Nigerian President Professor Goodluck Jonathan has dismissed his chief of staff, 3 senior government sources, extending a wave of government changes a year before elections. Africa's second largest economy and biggest oil producer is advancing as an investment destination, but political instability is a concern for investors, especially as wasteful government spending tends to spike ahead of elections. Presidency spokesperson Ruben Abati told reporters that Chief of Staff Mike Obiadome had resigned because he wanted to pursue political opportunities in the ruling People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Government sources said he was sacked. Jonathan is facing a crisis within the PDP centered around his assumed intention to run for another term in the 2015 election. He has yet to say whether or not he will do so. 5 powerful state governors and dozens of lawmakers have defected to the recently formed coalition of the All People's Congress, mostly politicians from the largely Muslim north. Jonathan is a Christian from the southern oil region of Nigeria. So that'll be it for the latest news update we have on the AM show. Before we go, though, a recap of our top stories.
Ghanaian doctors and nurses accused of abusing heroin and cocaine-based drug pipeline.
On the economy, Ghana needs an estimated $15 billion over a 10-year period to address challenges faced in water, road, energy, aviation, and its housing sectors.
Also, pharmacies serving National Health Insurance Authority subscribers threatened to return to cash and carry.
Well, so that's it for the latest news headlines we have for you. Until we bring you the latest updates on the hour, next we bring to you what the headlines are on the front and back pages of the various newspapers.
We'll also bring you some sports news. Our show is proudly brought to you by Mexico Coffee. Stay with us.
All right. Having some tight fixtures and 3 outstanding match day 16 games fixed for midweek involving clubs who were involved in the CAF inter-club competitions. Well, they've been rescheduled to a later date, and according to the Premier League board, the first Capital Plus Premier League fixtures involving Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Brekum Chelsea, Midiema and Ebusia Drafts of Cape Coast will now be played on February 24. The Premier League board has considered requests from clubs participating in the CAF inter-club competitions and has decided that since the return leg of their international matches clash with the date fixed for the outstanding matches, the following match fixtures will be played on Monday, February 24, 2014, and that's how the statement summarized it. And so these matches, the following matches we're about to tell you, all expected to take place on February 24, will be affected. Kumasi Asante Kotoko facing off with Ebusia Dwarfs, Inter-Allies versus Midiema, and Brekum Chelsea versus Ashanti Gold will all be played on a later date. So February 24 it is. He has to do well to maintain his spot. That is, if he wants to be #1 goalkeeper of the Black Stars in the World Cup. And Ghana goalkeeper Fatou Dauda says he will not stop fighting for a regular place in his PSL side, Orlando Pirates, as he fights for regular team play. And the former Ashgold shortstopper made his debut for the South African Premier League side over the weekend after #1 goalie Meyiwa came off injured. Fatou Dauda spoke exclusively to the sports team.
Let's say when you put together best players together, definitely some will start, some will sit down. If you are sitting out, that doesn't mean you are not good. Especially in goalkeeping, how many times do you see a team changing a goalkeeper? Unless injury or suspension card, yellow, red card and stuff. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. It's a challenge. I know I'm not coming to find it easy, but I need to, fight and then learn something from others so that I can come and help my nation. You understand? I need to progress in life. It's not easy, but I know things will change. The most important is when you are playing a club, every club, the club is being owned by the fans. That's what it's about. They know what I can do, but I think I need to work. I'm still working hard. Waiting for the most important thing for me to do is to wait for the chance. When the chance comes, I'll just grab it.
Well, Fatou Dauda is one of Ghana coach Kwesi Appiah's team members, and he will hope to be among the 23 players to be selected to represent Ghana in the World Cup later. But Coach Kwesi Appiah says he's certain who will go to Brazil wearing the Black Star jersey for Ghana. He says at least 20 players already, barring injuries, have their mark on the tournament.
I personally believe that all coaches that have qualified to the World Cup, if not all, all the coaches should at least know at least 20 people in mind, And for me, I don't believe in limiting my scope of monitoring. I most of the time try to, add maybe 2 or 3, because you never know. From now to May, I'm personally praying that we don't get any injuries or any sickness along the line. But as to presenting the team, if we were to play even today, I'll be able to put out a 23-man squad.
That's it for sports for the AM show, and it's brought to you by Tigo and Cowbell.